Listen to me. I'm gonna be real honest with you right now. This moment came to me in a dream. About a month ago, I was making love. My wife Donna, on top of her, thrusting away. A sultry, hot evening. All the windows closed. The heat turned up to about 82, so it gets sweaty and hot. My hips thrusting down on Donna, her trying to get away, because she does not like it. When I hear a sound, a rap at the door, my young son Gabriel walks in. My wife says, "No, Gabriel, leave." I say, "No, let the boy watch." Let the boy watch. He needs to learn the way I learned from my father, the way he learned from his father.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 5 of the Sleazy Podcast. I made it to 5. Today, I'm not joined by any of my previous PICs, partners in crime. I'm joined by an old fellow podcast friend and best friend forever, Flynn.
From the formerly Nerdco Sports Podcast.
Yeah, that we just stopped doing for whatever reason. I think John was just running off out of state or something like that. But yeah, I called you Johnny and Flynn, so everybody knows your name. Too bad. Suck it.
Flynn Diggity, you know.
Yeah, Flynn Diggity, whatever you want to be called. Okay, so we're going to change the tone of the show up a little bit today. And since I have my former sports podcast guy, we're going to start off with the NBA Finals, Game 5, do or die for the Cavs. And LeBron and Kyrie showed up.
Yeah, they were the only ones from the Cavs that showed up. But,
unfortunately, yeah. Kevin Love showed up to score 2 points.
2 points, yeah, that was
2 points.
And he had a lot of minutes too. Like he was out there a long time, and to get 2 points, that's terrible.
I wonder how many shots he took though. I mean,
I think 5. I want to say 5. I think he was 1 of 5.
He can't take shots if LeBron and Kyrie are just taking them all.
Hey, if they have a performance like they did last night, then that's all that matters.
Who cares, yeah. Right? JR, I think, scored 10 in the first quarter. But I did read a stat that said combined through scoring and assists, LeBron and Kyrie were accountable for 97 points on the floor.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. That's how it was last night.
That's finals history, baby. That's all you need to know about that.
I think that they're the only duo in finals history to score at least 40 apiece.
40 apiece. They both scored 41 apiece.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we actually sat and watched it last night, and you know, I think he got to like 31. I was like, at the rate he's going to go 40 plus tonight.
Yeah, and he got that quick.
Yeah, and he sure did get it. I won't lie, I got a little nervous when Golden State pulled within 6.
Well, Clay had a hell of a game too. He was hitting all his shots and
he was hitting everything.
Just unconscious for a stretch there.
The one shot he had from like almost half court that he just drained.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think between him and Kyrie, they were both shitting on each other like all night. I mean, Kyrie, man, he just embarrasses those dudes when they try to chase him around. Yeah, dude has the best handles I think I've ever seen in the NBA.
Yeah, he has the tools to be a great point guard, and it was nice to see that last night because the Cavs needed it.
Yeah. Excuse me while I drink this water.
The podcast is brought to you by Kroger Water.
Kroger Water. I think it's like $3.99 for a 32-pack, so go buy some.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's pretty good water. I don't know. Some people say you can't taste the difference in water. I think you can.
I agree.
Yeah, some water tastes like shit, and you're like, give me some better bottled water.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Kroger Water.
Yeah, Kroger Water's good, and it's cheap.
Yes.
$3.99, 32-pack. That's your local Kroger. Friendly Kroger Marketplace, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. I should be better at that, you know.
Yeah, seriously.
But back to the NBA Finals. I mean, I didn't think that it was going to go down like that. I thought they'd play a tough game and then, you know, they get curbed by like 17 points at the end.
Well, I mean, and you got to remember, there's no Draymond last night, and for most of the game, no Bogut. So they lost a ton of their size, mostly in Bogut, but Draymond's is their defense. Draymond's like the heart and soul of that team. So
yeah,
losing him was huge. So you can't forget that fact. Like as good as the Cavs played two Cavs played good last night. Everybody else didn't really play well at all. And if you take that all into account, then I think it might not look the same if you add at least add Draymond in there, because then he's going to step up on defense on Kyrie and or LeBron, and it's not going to be the same. They're not going to get as many points as free looks as they got without Draymond there. So
well, now Draymond's going to have to play the big man.
Yeah, so, well, and I haven't heard about Bogut, what his status is.
There's no way he can come back and play after that. I mean, did you see JR fall into his knee?
Yeah.
They haven't really updated his status, I don't believe, either, which leads me to, believe that it's a lot worse than what it is, and they don't want the Cavs to know. But I don't think he's going to play the rest of the series.
And he hasn't been a big factor in this series. Like, they've... I think
the first two games, I think he was.
He has a few, and he gives them their size when they need the size. But Draymond's obviously their third best player on that team, and they definitely missed him last night. But Cleveland, it's a whole new series now, and the fact that they were down 3-1 going back to Oakland. I think if you look at now, they're going to Cleveland. Cleveland's got some momentum now. Going home, if they can capture that that home court advantage and that whole
anything can happen in a game 7.
Yeah, and then if they can pull that one out and go back to Oakland, game 7, that's all bets are off. If at game 7 you have anything can happen, and if they play as well, I think LeBron, him alone can will them to a championship.
Yeah, and here's the thing, I don't think Cleveland's played their best game yet.
No, for sure not.
They haven't reached their potential.
Well, if you look at because
even with the blowout in Game 3, and even with the excellent performances from Kyrie and Kevin in Game 5.
Yeah, and
not Kevin, LeBron. I'm sorry.
If you look at Game 3, Game 3 was definitely their best game of the series,
right?
Because they had more contributors, and Golden State had a full squad. If you come back, if you look and say if they can do what they did Game 3. They really have a chance because if Kyrie and LeBron play, and then you get JR get 15 or so points, and some of the other role players like Jefferson's been playing really well this series. They've really depended on him for not only his offense but his defense.
His defense has been outstanding.
Yeah,
I think the Cavs played the best defense that I've ever seen any team play the other night.
Yeah, it was really good
considering who they're playing defense against.
Yeah, and if they can play defense well enough that Golden State's not hitting their shots, then they can win the series. Because if Golden State's not hitting the shots, that team relies on. They won more games than any other team in NBA history in the regular season.
They have no inside game. It's all about the 3-point.
Yeah, especially without Bogut. If they don't have Bogut, they're only depending on those guys on the outside now. And
see, here's the thing with Bogut out. That means Draymond isn't going to be out on the 3-point line because he's normally
he'll be playing the 5. Yeah,
he's normally the guy that hits the 3 that kills our momentum. Yeah. So I mean, it just creates more opportunity for them to trap Clay and Steph Curry.
Yeah, exactly. And LeBron, the Cavs can bring another guy on the inside, and that's one Draymond's going to have to really. Draymond's going to have a lot of work on his hands because he's going to have to defend whatever big man's out there for Cleveland.
And he sat out a game, so he's out of rhythm. I mean, that's being suspended is a big deal, and he's not at home. So, and you know what? He's gonna be looked at by the refs. I mean, they're not gonna cut him any slack. I mean,
yeah, and that's another good point to talk about the series. Like all the talk after that game when he was suspended. Like, it was crazy to hear all the kind of the vitriol towards LeBron. Like, it was his fault that he got punched. Like, I don't understand that.
LeBron, I heard LeBron campaigned through the media to get him suspended. Like, no, he didn't. Like, LeBron said he didn't care what happened to him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it benefited the Cavs to have him suspended. But you watch it, he punched him in the nuts. Like, what do you want? And it's not the first time in this playoffs that Draymond's done this. So I don't understand. Like, he deserved to be suspended for when he kicked Adams in the ball. So I don't understand that.
He's definitely gotten away with it, and it comes to a point where the NBA let him off easy with the $25,000 fine.
Yeah,
I mean, in the last series with Golden State. So when they did this, he would have had to have been suspended, or they would have looked stupid.
Yeah, exactly. They had no choice because he obviously should have been suspended. So by letting him off there, They're like, okay, seriously, this is your last chance, and then he went and did it again. I don't know what anybody else expected. It's crazy to even think about, being a Cavs fan or not. I think anybody just to say, he did that. If he did that one more time, he has to be suspended at least one game. Right. I don't understand anybody saying whatever. It doesn't take much effort not to hit someone like that. I don't get it. It wasn't a basketball play. It wasn't anything like that. He deserved what he got.
Yeah. It kills me because people, I get why they say they're defending him, but they just aren't getting the whole thing. Like, he's done this 10 times already.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he's gotten suspended, because it's a reoccurring habit.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the NBA was like, oh, we're suspending you because of your actions. He was suspended because of he accrued another flagrant foul.
Yeah.
So it was just they weren't suspending him because of his action. It was because the action gave him another flagrant foul, and because he's accrued so many flagrant. I think you get 4, you get suspended.
4,
so he's got suspended. 4 in the playoffs. Like, he deserves to be suspended by the rule book, by any other means. It's right there in the rules. You get 4. I think it's 4 flagrants, and you're suspended the next game. It's black and white.
It's funny because I had like a little open discussion on my Facebook, and one of our friends that we went to high school with was like, "Oh, you're just a Cavs fan if you think he should be suspended." Like, no, it's pretty cut and dry. The rule is the rule. Sure. Do I want to see him get suspended? Secretly, yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't like him. I think he's a dirty player. But that being said, I don't want to beat Golden State without their best players. I want to be able to beat them with everybody on the court.
Yeah, and that's what I said that going in. I wanted the Cavs to play Golden State back when it was between Golden State and Oklahoma City. I wanted Golden State again because I wanted the Cavs to have a full team to play against them.
Yeah.
And so I think we want to see Draymond in there and beat them with their lineup, but I don't have any. I'm not sad about it at all that he was suspended because he deserved it, and that's the bottom line.
And trust me, the NBA did not want to do it because the NBA loves the Warriors. They want that picture perfect win for them, and they want to see them right off in the sunset. They're the NBA's model team.
There's a million. You see all these things that Golden State gets away with. The moving picks is crazy that they have. Like, I've never seen it so many times. Like, I watched like Clay. He goes through all the time when him and Curry are out there. He just grabs people when he runs by him, and then Curry will come around, and it just does. I don't understand. They get away with it all the time.
Yeah,
I rarely ever see that call.
Stan Van Gundy, earlier in the playoffs, was like, it's LeBron, he gets away with whatever. Like, how about it's Golden State, they get away with whatever.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Definitely for sure. But it's new life to the series now, and I think that Cleveland's finally getting what they want out of each game. Like, they've progressively gotten better each game.
Yeah, and I still think I think they're figuring it out still. Like, I don't think they haven't figured out the lineup yet, which is crazy to me. It's already going to be game 6. We see what
the lineup is. Richard Jefferson needs to play over Love.
Yeah, Love,
just for the defense.
Yeah, Love needs to come out, especially they left him in there the whole game yesterday. I don't know if they were trying to see if he can get a shot or whatever the reason was, because it's obviously not for his defense, and you can't have him out there if he's not hitting shots and he's not playing defense. Then he's a liability out there.
I just want to know why Channing Frye hasn't played a whole lot this series. That guy, that's 15 points right there every game.
Yeah, I think Love needs to. He can come off the bench, start Frye or start Jefferson. I think that's a much better thing. And you got to see. You'll know right away if JR doesn't have a shot, then he needs to play a lot less minutes.
Yeah.
If Love doesn't have a shot, then he needs to go, because you're wasting time and you're wasting someone else on the bench that might be hot. Like, Jefferson played really well. Or Frye, Frye's a shooter. If Frye's out there and he has a shot, then bring him out there and make him your starter.
At this point, I really think that JR needs to come off the bench in favor of Shump, and I really think Jefferson alone has earned his spot to start.
Yeah, I think so. Him or Frye.
He's outplayed Kevin Love this series in particular. He's played solid minutes all through the playoffs.
Yep.
But hopefully Cleveland can wrap one up in the queue and.
Yeah, I think they have a chance.
I can't see LeBron letting them win again in the land.
Yeah,
I can't see he doesn't. The Warriors make that joke about smelling champagne every time they walk into the cue, and I can't see them wanting to hear that again for another year or 5 years.
Yeah, I think if the Cavs win Game 6, then I think they win Game 7 too. I think because if they can win Game 6 versus that whole team with Draymond, I think that means they'll finally have it probably figured out, because you can't count on 40 from LeBron and Kyrie every time.
And here's the thing. They got rid of David Lee, so there's no other guy to create a mismatch now. Mm-hmm. Like, Varejao sucks. If you put him in, they're just going to foul him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like they did to Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
Which, man, at least he made 2, and they quit fouling him after that. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know. I'm with you. We were just talking about this. I said, it's funny that teams that get a lead, once they're up like 3-1 and they lose that second win, like they just... Like the pressure is on them, and some people collapse,
Yeah.
But, now that the 3-1 thing is over with, LeBron actually was down 3-2 in the 2012-2013 season in the NBA Finals with the Miami Heat, and he came back and won. Which a little bit different. He didn't go down 3-1 in that series, but still, yeah. I mean, it's 3-2 now. So
yeah, it'd be a great accomplishment. It'd be a great story for Cleveland. I mean,
LeBron is not nervous. You can tell. Like he's been in every situation that he can be.
Yeah,
in
especially you put him in the situation. He's away, and he was the villain. He was every time he touched the ball, even in the warm-ups, he was getting booed like crazy. Yeah. Like for most of the game, until at the end, we're like, well, we can't really boo him anymore because he beat the crap out of us. So,
yeah,
but
because he put on an NBA historical performance.
Yeah, but you can see he kind of, I think in the past, even when he first went to Miami, he didn't really like that role of the villain, because he got booed every place he went to. He got booed.
I think he likes it now.
And I think now, especially last night, I think he embraced it, and he went out there and said, "Okay, you guys want to boo? Here, I'll show you what's up."
Yeah,
and
I hope they boo him again like that in Game 7.
Oh, and they absolutely will.
Yeah, if we make it to Game 7.
Yeah, let's hope that.
But I also want to point out Stephen A. Smith. I'm campaigning big time for ESPN to fire him. He is the biggest back and forth person I've ever seen in sports commentary or whatever you want to call it. But Game 2, the Cavaliers are done. Put a fork in it. They're done. Okay. Now what happens after last night? I watch a clip while, I'm on break at work today. Oh, LeBron is a man. He's a bad man. Yeah. He showed me something last night. Like, well, you've been watching him for 10 plus years. What else has he not shown you? All of a sudden, then he's like, Golden State ain't winning Game 6, and they'll be lucky to win Game 7. It's just like, come on, dude, stick to your guns.
Yeah, I definitely don't like Stephen A. Smith, but he does get the draw of attention from the people. People love him. People love that show. I know
I hate him.
Skip's leaving in a couple episodes.
I like Skip better than I like him, and I hate Skip.
Yeah, and I don't like either one of them. I don't watch the show, so I mean I can't really speak too much to it. But but he gets people love that kind of that polarizing kind of content.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind Stephen A. Smith if he just talked in a regular voice.
Yeah,
but like the fact that it's just this like role that he plays.
Yeah, that show built these like two personas of these two just this polarizing guys. Hey, let's just get in here
and yell at each other.
Yeah, we'll both have opposite opinions, and we'll both be really intense about it, and people will eat it up, and they absolutely have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens, but go Cavs. I say.
Game 6 is Thursday, 9:00.
Yeah, these late games they kill me, dude.
I know. I can't stand how late they are, but. Sunday, if they make it to Sunday, it'll be 8:00, so it's an hour earlier.
Yeah, good deal. An hour earlier. They should start at 7, I think.
Those California people, man.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Moving on, we're gonna talk about a couple movies. We actually got early passes to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Out of the Shadows, and. The first one, I went in not expecting a whole lot, and I was actually pleasantly surprised, minus some of the things I disliked most about the movie were the product placement, Pizza Hut and Crush. And,
yeah.
Then, I don't mind Megan Fox because she's very nice to look at. So, I mean, she can be, the worst actress and I wouldn't care because she's eye candy. But, I mean, other than that, it was decent. I took it for what it was. It was a kid's movie. Now, I gotta say, man, they totally they took the criticisms that people had in the first one, and they totally improved it in the second one.
Yeah, I think it was just like they took the cartoon and made it.
Yes.
That was their blueprint for this movie.
Yeah.
And they really did a great job, I thought, of really kind of capturing all that.
When I was watching the movie, I couldn't help but to think, man, I feel like I'm watching the cartoon again.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I mean, they got the personalities right with the turtles, which they did in the first one. Krang was done pretty well, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was decent. Casey Jones, Stephen Amell, it doesn't really have a whole lot of range in his acting, but I thought they made Casey Jones kind of too I don't know how to say this, but I'm the good guy and doesn't know any better,
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was weird because if I mean I haven't watched the cartoon in a long time, but if I remember, he was more of a bad guy. Initially when he first was introduced, they didn't really know what to make of him.
He was just kind of like a vigilante that.
Yeah,
they kind of had problems.
And it took him a while to get used to him,
but he never was like a Captain America type character, which is what I kind of felt like they were making him,
exactly,
an all-American guy who got screwed over.
Yeah,
Casey Jones was just your typical rough guy, who liked hockey, and that's one of the things that the original movie got right was Casey Jones, But I mean, to me, the first two movies are that's it, But this second one, I really liked it. I wouldn't mind watching it again.
Yeah, for sure. It was really good.
I can't remember who else was in the movie. Tyler Perry was, could do without him, which we're going to get to see Baxter at some point, the little fly guy.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Shredder was kind of, a disappointment. I mean,
yeah, he didn't really have much to do in the movie. He got broken out of the thing, and he was all ready to do some other stuff, and then Krang had some other ideas.
Yeah, so Krang is kind of like the bad guy, which is fine. But I really love the dump truck they had when they were shooting the sewer lids out.
Yep.
That was cool. I still haven't seen a good Splinter scene, but. So, I mean, I guess if you kind of ignore the first one, if you're very particular on things, then the second one will be really good for you.
Yeah, so, it was kind of, the first one was okay for an origin story, I guess.
But it's for a new set of kids. I mean, that's what it is. It's not made for me and you, the old diehard fans.
If you don't need an origin story for the Turtles, then the second one is perfect for you. Especially if you watch the cartoon, then this is perfect for you.
And that's what I understand when it comes to remakes and stuff like that. They're not made for the true fan of the originals. They're going a different direction, and you just have to accept that.
Yeah, especially something like the Turtles, who are owned by Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
So you take that into account, and they're going for that next. When we were kids, that's we were going to watch Turtles. So that's what they're going for with this. Is
a lot of people that are really diehard original Turtle fans. When I say original, they're comic book Turtle fans. Didn't like our cartoon version.
Yeah,
because the Turtles were ruthless. They actually killed people and did some dirty things. But I mean, you're just not going to get it. It's going to change every time. You're never going to get something that's page for page for page.
Yeah, and you're never going to get something that pleases everybody.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you just have to look at. I go in and I look at it well, this is going to be different, but hopefully it entertains me. That's what I want to see. Does it entertain me? Does it keep my attention for the hour and 40, 50 minutes?
Yeah, and there's nothing that I've, from my childhood or anything that I'll be angry at if it's not done exactly how it was. I go into everything watching it. If I'm entertained by it first and foremost, and then, if it's good, I like to see a lot of the kind of the throwbacks or the homages to the original stories in a lot of things, which is always cool to see. But I go into things knowing that this is probably not going to be canon from taken directly from the original stuff.
One thing I didn't like was how they made the Turtles in the first one. They were kind of really big and bulky, and they had one of the things that made them big and bulky was they had all this shit on them.
Yeah,
I don't know what you want to call it, samurai gear almost or something, But they kind of sized them down for this movie, and they got rid of the things that people didn't like on them, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
But but one of the things they really nailed was Michelangelo and Raphael. I mean, those two were just the cartoonish, straight from the cartoon. But
yeah, especially Michelangelo, especially I think
Yeah.
he's perfect for that. You know, he get
the guy that does his voice is like right on too.
yeah.
But I mean, overall, I mean, if I were to give it like, out of 5 stars, I'd probably give it a 4-star. Because it was that fun.
Yeah.
I really had fun watching it, and I think a lot of kids will really dig that movie.
Yeah, because I definitely think it's a good movie to watch for kids. It's not there's nothing too violent, nothing too scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's definitely it's a good sweet spot of a movie for kids to enjoy and the kids' parents. You know, so it's really enjoyable.
It's too bad we couldn't get your son out to enjoy it.
Yeah, he didn't. He tried to watch the first one. He said it was too scary, but he just turned 5, so. Maybe here.
I was watching the original one when I was 5. Then again, I was watching like Lethal Weapon when I was like 3 and 4.
Well, I remember watching like Terminator when I was a kid, and that gave me nightmares. So that was like the only movie I've ever had nightmares from was Terminator.
My brother is 14 now. My mom still won't let him watch stuff, and I'm like, Mom, I was watching that when I was like 3, and like she always looks at me and she goes, Sweetie, you were a different type of kid. And I'm like, I guess.
Well,
so.
that's true.
She was like, you had to grow up a little quicker, and I was like, okay, whatever.
That's our generation, I think. We definitely we grew up faster.
So I went and a buddy from work actually gave me a call, Sunday evening. He was like, hey, you want to go see The Conjuring 2? I was like, sure. And we just happened to luck out, and it was in the Marcus. And the first showing that we were going to go see was in the dream seats and all that.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was awesome. And to top it off, I still had 2 free movie passes from when the power went out for Batman vs. Superman, so I saw it for free.
That's what's up.
High five. Yes. And I'll tell you this. When it comes to scary movies nowadays, I really don't like watching them. They just don't scare me. Unless I'm watching them with somebody else and I see like how they react, or you know what I mean, and it kind of gets me into the movie a little bit. But when I went and seen The Conjuring a couple years ago, I would say, it made me feel like I was a kid again, and I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of scary parts in it. And I got to tell you, this Conjuring 2 for a sequel, every bit as good as the first parts, where I'm like, okay, I know something's coming up here. I just know it. This is how they wrote this in. And it still scared the shit out of me. I still jumped, 4 or 5 times through that movie. And the fact that, just the way they shoot things and the way they make certain characters look, it is creepy as hell, man. Like, and I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I came home later that night, and you know that feeling you have, like you feel like somebody's behind you watching you. Like, I had that feeling like every time I got up to go do something, and I was just like, So you like flick the light on and look back, but nothing's going on. It's just the effect the movie had on you.
Yeah.
And to me, that's worth it. Like, they nailed it. If they can get that reaction out of me, they can get it out of most people.
I remember going to see Signs with you, and when that dog barked,
yeah,
you jumped out of your
jump.
seat. That was great.
Yeah, it's like sometimes like it's always that stupid part. Like, it's not necessarily scary. It's the environment you're in.
The suddenness of it.
Yeah,
like
the speakers get to you and it makes you jump.
Well, it's like Signs wasn't really a scary movie, but like Shyamalan had all these things. He likes to just insert these random like jump out parts. So, like that dog barking with the volume turned all the way up.
And I think the thing that makes The Conjuring scary is because deep down in your mind, like, you like, especially if you're a religious person, you can see something like this happening or whatever. And because you obviously, if you're religious, you believe in demons and whatnot. But
what's like the Exorcist? I mean,
that's what pretty much the first one and this one are like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can somehow imagine it happening. So, they kind of get in your mind and make you, almost as if you're kind of there, and it kind of affects you like that,
Yeah, because I haven't seen the first one. I'm probably not going to see this one, but like, isn't the idea like The Exorcist, where like someone's like possessed or whatever, and like,
yeah,
so it's almost shot like, here, this is based on real events or whatever, and like, so they go and they say, here, this is what's going to go on, and like, these are like, it's like a documentary almost.
Well, these I wouldn't say documentary. But these follow Ed and Lorraine Warren, which they're like the most famous, ghost investigators or whatnot. They've got tons of books out. I was actually looking at them. There's one where they said they exorcised a werewolf demon. I don't know what a werewolf demon is, but I'm not going to read up on it. I don't really want to know any more than I have to. But Ed and Lorraine, you know, throughout the 70s and 80s, they got called in when things were like really bad. And they were actually really famous for the Amityville horror thing. Like, that's them.
Okay.
So, but, you know, and a lot of people thought they were hoax, but, I mean, the Roman Catholic Church would, when they had, like, people that would complain about stuff, they would call Ed and Lorraine, and Ed and Lorraine would go in. They'd observe, and if they could help the family, they'd try to help and then leave. But there's a lot of debate because one of the families was addicted to drugs and stuff like that. But, you know, one of, like, their fame to the glory is, you know, Ed's said he's been thrown across rooms, and Lorraine supposedly has psychic abilities, which you'll see that if you see the movie.
Okay.
But, I mean, I guess, you know, I'll go back to the religious part. If you're a religious person, you'll find some kind of, you know, something to take away from the movie, you know, make you appreciate it a little bit, because they are, you know, God people, you know, Christians or whatever you want to call them. I don't know if I classify them Christians, but
okay.
But, you know, they believe theater because the sound is what gets you. You
Yeah.
got to turn the lights off. It's got to be dark. You got to turn your surround system on, and you got to catch the full environment of it. But no, I definitely give Conjuring 4 out of 5 stars. I mean, it was at a good time. My buddy that was with me, he was like, dude, he was like, said the same thing I said. He was like, I knew when there was parts that would make me jump. I'm trying not to jump, and it still scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, see, and that's, I guess, if that's an experience you are looking for, then that's cool. But, like, I don't really, like, I don't see the value of hey, I want to go to this movie and I want it to make me jump. Like, I don't.
It's still a good movie though, so it's still worth watching.
Okay.
Not only for that experience, but I mean, it's worth watching just to see the storyline and, you know, the events that the characters go through and whatnot. And the people that actually play Ed and Lorraine, you've seen them in a couple things.
Yeah, I recognize the guy.
The one guy's from Watchmen. He played the guy that looked like Batman in Watchmen. I don't know the character's name. But, I mean, they're really good actors and actresses. So, I mean, it's a good quality movie. And, I mean, the cinematography in it is amazing, too. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, either way you go, it's a win, you know. But, I mean, that's the only movies I've seen recently. Have you seen anything?
No, I think. Well, I saw the Nice Guys. Saying it's really Ryan Gosling and who's the other?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yeah, they're really good together. It's a funny movie. There's a lot of it's really enjoyable. It's set in the 70s.
Exactly.
It's so funny, and it's these guys that they're like private detectives, and they're going through, and they kind of stumble into some bigger things, and it's very enjoyable. A lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. Like I from the trailers I saw, it was going to be, you know, there's some funny parts in it, but I didn't realize how funny kind of throughout the movie was going to be. But it's definitely, it has that tone through it. It's definitely worth watching. There's a lot of movies coming out this summer that I mean, obviously the summer blockbuster season's upon us. Independence Day comes out.
I really want to see that.
Day after my birthday.
You know what I want to see? What I really want to see that I haven't seen yet, that's been out for a couple of months? Keanu.
Oh, yes. We were just talking about the other day. I was like, I haven't seen that either.
I want to see that so bad. It looks hilarious. I've told a couple people that, and they're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? The movie looks terrible. And I'm like, you're fucking crazy.
No,
that movie looks funny.
Those guys know what they're doing.
Those guys know comedy. Like, I mean, those guys are the heir apparent to Dave Chappelle, if you ask me.
For sure.
But I'm really sad I haven't seen that yet. I'm going to have to fire up my box and see if I can't find a stream of that. You know, and don't judge me for that, audience, because I go see movies left and right every other week, every week, you name it. I'm going. So don't judge me for that. I just got busy and couldn't see that this time.
I'll probably rent it, so at least I'm contributing something.
Hopefully it'll be out on like Blu-ray in like August or something.
Yeah, I imagine it would come out soon.
Movies seem to have a quick turnaround nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, I can't even remember anything off the top of my head. What else comes out? I mean,
Star Trek,
Suicide Squad. Oh, I want to see Star Trek, obviously, because I am a big Trekkie.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of upset that it's not in space and they're blowing the Enterprise up again. I mean,
It seems like they do that every other movie now.
Well, yeah, they blew the Enterprise up last time, but it was in a space. But I do want to see. I want to see Captain Kirk on the bridge talking shit to somebody.
Yeah.
And them retaliating well, Kirk, if you don't do this, and then he's like, turn the screen off, Sulu.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see. That's the kind of shit I want to see from Star Trek. But I guess if I want to watch that, I can watch the Next Generation, not Next Enterprise, the Next Generation, because Patrick Stewart did that shit as Picard all the time. He'd always talk shit to people on the screen and cut them off.
Yep, I'm done with you.
Yeah, but anyways, we got big news today.
Amazing news.
Big, amazing news.
You might say it was pretty good.
Curb Your Enthusiasm is coming back for another season.
Amazing. It's a 5-year hiatus.
5-year hiatus, man.
I was glad because I caught it late. I watched it actually just last year. I watched it all 5 seasons.
Hey,
or
bro,
however it is.
Bro, when you gonna listen to me?
I always listen to you. Usually I'm late, but I definitely listen.
Bro, when
to
you gonna listen to me? I was watching Curb and I was like, you gotta watch this show. There's so many scenes every episode that I just had laugh till I cried moments.
Yeah, it's even worse for me because I'm a big Seinfeld fan and Larry David's amazing. He's a genius.
Yes.
He's perfect Bernie.
Yeah.
So, but he's that show was so good, and when it kind of ended, I was like, it ended, but it was like, it could have went on if it wanted to. So you're like, hopefully, I was curious it came back, and I didn't realize it'd been gone for so long because I just watched it fairly recently, and I really really enjoy that show.
So, what's your favorite Curb episode?
I don't know. They're all so good. I can't. I don't know if I could pick a favorite. So definitely, it'd be one with one of his catchphrases and when he starts all the pretty good. That's always those are funny.
I'll tell you what. I really enjoyed the seasons with Leroy in it.
Yeah,
he was really good. One episode where he dated the girl in the wheelchair and he wheeled her into a closet and closed the door on her. But I'll tell you this, one of the favorite one thing about Larry David, he builds a joke up for the whole episode and then he hits the punch right at the end. The one episode where he's visiting Richard who's sick, and Richard's nurse used to go out with is it Jeff, his other buddy Jeff?
Oh yeah, is this the big vagina?
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
And she's like, yeah, it didn't really work out with Jeff, and he's like, so why not? If you don't mind me asking. And she finally tells him, and she puts her finger up to the universal sign for he doesn't have a big one, and so he goes back to Jeff, and he's like, so I talked to such and such that you used to date, and he's like, oh yeah, what'd she have to say? And he's just kind of putting his finger up and casually trying to tell him, and he was like, no, and then he puts his hands up. He's like, big vagina, she's got a big vagina. And I was like, you know what, that's my excuse from now on. But if it works for Jeff, it can work for anybody.
Yeah, that was good.
But I wonder how many episodes get 10 out of it.
Yeah, I hope they do a full season.
I gotta imagine this is it for him though, because he's been off doing other movies and acting, obviously. SNL.
Seriously, HBO is got to be the best curator of television.
Oh yeah, they know what they're doing.
Like right now, Game of Thrones is wrapping up. What's this, season 6 now?
Yeah, I think it's 6.
We've got 2 episodes left, I think. It's amazing. The show. This is Game of Thrones is one of the best shows ever. Every episode is it's like a little movie. It's all just one big. They're connected to each other, and Game of Thrones is amazing. I just started watching. I'm on season 3 of Veep now. I know that's currently is running also. Veep is great. Eastbound and Down was one of our favorites. I remember that show. The first season of that. I remember you brought that to me to watch. Now you have it on DVD, and I was like, "You're like, watch this." And I remember I watched it in a couple of days, and I was like, "This is incredible." That was one of the funniest shows ever.
I'll never forget going to Atlanta for 311's Halloween party the year Eastbound and Down was finally getting discovered, I went as Kenny Powers, and just walking down Peachtree Lane or Street, whatever it is. There's like a billion Peachtree streets there, but I felt like a rock star. Everybody was like coming up to me, like high-fiving me. They're like, Kenny fucking Powers! And I was like, yes, I'm a rock star. But yeah, man, everything they put out is gold. I mean, even if it is like a show that most people don't like, there's a handful of people that like it that make it successful.
Yeah, like the Wire. I watched that. The Wire was such an amazing show. Like it's seriously,
need to get into that.
It's one of the best shows ever. Like it's up there with, you know, I think I consider like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, two of the best shows ever made. The Wire to me is right up there with them. Oz is another one. Oz is so good. Like I was surprised how much I would like Oz, and
yeah,
it's great. And there's a lot of reoccurring characters too. You'll see like the actors anyway. Like there's an actor that was in Oz that was also in The Wire, and you'll see him out throughout. But HBO is amazing. Like there's a new show with coming out, the Vice Principal show.
Yeah, that looks really good.
It's gonna be funny. But I'm continually impressed. I'm just starting this week, just watching The Sopranos.
Sopranos is up there as the best. You want to talk about your best shows? Okay, so for me, it's Breaking Bad. I mean, The Sopranos, Lost, and what am I forgetting here? I mean, obviously Game of Thrones, but I mean and then Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, yeah.
You know, like those are like the best shows ever.
Yeah, I know. I watched the first episode of Sopranos, so I know I'm gonna like it. There's no question. It was never about whether I'm gonna like it or not. It was just about when I was ready to invest that much time, because they're hour episodes, and there's a handful of seasons, so it's gonna take a little while. But it's amazing. I know it's gonna be amazing, and I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Sopranos, just like Breaking Bad. You can watch the whole series, and then when you see a rerun on, you just stop what you're doing to watch it. Like, that's what kind of show The Sopranos is.
Yeah, and Breaking Bad, that was another thing. I didn't watch Breaking Bad when it was running. I watched it, and that was another thing I watched this past year, and it's amazing. Like, that's one of those shows. We're forgetting 24. 24 is probably number one in my...
24 was good.
Yeah, 24. That was one of those shows where, like, and 24 was in that list. 24 and Game of Thrones, I guess, were the only shows I had to watch week to week. Like all these other shows, like Breaking Bad, I got to binge it, and I watch a few episodes at a time, which is great because it kind of quenches your thirst for a little bit. You watch 3 episodes of Breaking Bad, you're like, oh my gosh, you cover a lot of ground. Well, if you watch 24, if you only got 1 hour of that each week. It was like you're thirsting for it every week. You're like, oh my gosh, I need to watch 24. Like that was like before I think I had DVR, so I was like I need to be at my TV when this is on, and it was amazing, and that's how Game of Thrones is. Like you have to watch these, and you can't wait to watch the next episode. And Breaking Bad was like that too. I was glad I was able to binge it because I would go, okay, I want another episode now, and like I want to know what happens.
There's always that one asshole at work who never asks you, hey, did you watch that? Man, the mountain ripped that dude's head off last night. And you're like, fuck you, dude. Seriously, like ask. Sorry if I spoiled that for anybody. I should have asked. But, I mean, other than that, I think that's all we got to talk about.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed sitting down with you again.
Yes.
Brought the mojo back out. The boys are back together.
That's right, yeah.
The
it's
band
always
is
fun.
back together, yeah. So,
rest in peace, Narco Sports.
Yes. Well, it'll kind of incorporate itself into this show.
I like it.
Yeah, maybe we can get Dan on here.
Good.
Yeah, so... if he's not too busy doing whatever he does nowadays.
Dan the Cigar Man.
Yeah, Dan the Cigar Man. But I don't know who's going to be with me on the next episode. Probably Kyle, I would assume. So I'd imagine he wants to talk about something boring that nobody will want to hear, along with me. But thank you to the 7 people that probably listen nonstop. So excellent to have you. But that's all I have. Make sure you visit nerdko.com. That's ko.com, nerdko.com. We have tons of great t-shirts and accessories there that you can purchase, and you'll look really cool with them on it. You've got a couple Nerdco shirts. Do you
I
enjoy
do.
them?
Yes, they're awesome.
Excellent news. That's what I like to hear. But tune in next time, peeps.